Hey everyone, so in this video, I just want to continue my coverage of Unity 21.1 as far as some of the improvements and how much easier things are if you're using the HDRP template project. So when you're creating a new project, rather than using the 3D project, use the high definition render pipeline. And when you create a new scene, you go to File, New Scene, and these are the two HDRP choices. I just use Basic Outdoor. You click on Create, and that's what this is. So I've made no changes to this. So everything you need is already built in. You don't have to download post-processing and add post-processing components. So you're just going to go to Game Object, 3D Object, Cube, go to 0, go to 0, go to 0, just so it's closer. And now you just create a material. So right click, create, and we'll go to material. And we'll call this glow matte. And then we will take the glow matte, put it onto our object. And then there's not much that has to be done to make this be emissive because there's already emission inputs and the system is already using post-processing baked in, so you don't have to download a separate package for that. So use emission intensity, click on emission color, and just choose a color that you want to use for whatever the purpose is. And then there's emission intensity. So we could say make this like 500. And if you notice, this is not glowing. Reason for that is this is something that I don't think you ever really had to do if you're using the standard renderer, which is built in to the 3D project. You do have to adjust exposure weight. So if you do this, suddenly there's your glow, there's your cosmic cube, and just like that, you do have a glow effect. So very short video. I just wanted to mention that, and it's just so much easier now. I will mention though that certainly your mileage will vary depending on what system you're using. But if you're using the HDRP, you're going to have an impact to performance. If I was running something like this on just the standard 3D build, the standard renderer, I'd probably getting 400 frames per second. Yes, you don't need 300 or 400 frames per second. My point is though, when I run this, and I go to stats, you can see it's already saying I'm only getting about 130-ish frames per second. Now, once it's an executable, the frame rate would be higher, but there's also almost nothing here. There's a little bit of kind of distant fog, a skybox, and you got one glowing object. You don't have a bunch of enemies. You don't have a bunch of projectiles. You don't have a bunch of independent light sources. So just using this, you're already down to that frame rate, at least for the build. Obviously, once you turn it into an executable, you'll get a higher frame rate because it's not compiling it in real time. That you will get a bump in the frame rate. But still, if I was running this again, if I had just an open environment with one glowing cube, it would say something like 400 frames per second. So do be mindful of that this will impact your performance. And I think that's the reason why they still cling to the standard render pipeline, because there's actually three. There's the standard renderer, the HDRP, and the URP. The very fact that this is meant to be for lower end systems and like mobile devices and stuff, I just think they should jettison this one, but we'll see what they do. It's just very frustrating, and I've said this before, that as a new user of Unity, you're left not understanding why your system isn't doing the very basics, glow, fog, and things like that. And that you really, for new users, you probably should just go right into the HDRP because you're going to spend a lot of time playing catch up. Now, obviously, there's still a few hoops to jump through here, but I find it to not at all be unreasonable. The very fact that it says emission inputs is telling you that's what's creating the emissions, and then it's only a couple settings to actually make it work. So Anyways, that's about it. You can still change the emission levels using a script. I was going to do that, but that's really a separate tutorial, and I believe I already have that one, and I don't think the coding actually changes. So I think that should about do it. I hope that this was useful. If there's other features you'd like to see of 21.1 mentioned, just let me know, and I will try to do a video on it. And like I said, maybe on Saturday, I'll compile these into just one video because, again, some people said they just want to have the whole series once it's done. So one or two more things, and then that should wrap it up. And then we'll get back to more projects, and we'll see what we do from there. So please enjoy the rest of your day.